Awesome. So we're working on Cradle Song with Luke today. How about Luke? How about you go ahead and we're gonna. Well, I'm gonna turn my metronome off, and then I'm gonna turn it back on at 80 beats per minute. How about you go ahead and start working on the left hand like you were just doing. Let's work on left hand, but let's try to keep it soft, and we're gonna work on like that, having it at the 80 beats per minute. So let's go ahead and start that. Awesome, good job. How about, so one of these, let's try to make sure like feet are straight. Let's make sure everything's kind of ready here. Wrists up as we're playing. Let's start now and work on the right hand, and we're gonna do the same thing at 80 beats per minute. And we're trying to make it soft, and we wanna make sure we do our diminuendo and our piano at the end, okay? We're gonna try something out like where we are gonna duet, and we're gonna try to have that with metronome too. So let's see. How about you work the right hand and I'll do the left hand, and we're gonna go with metronome here, and we're gonna count. We're gonna start on the accent. 2, 3. Start it right here real quick. It's okay. 2 and 3 and. Alright, good. There, cool. So how about now, let's start working on this one hands together. And we're not going to worry about metronome just yet. Let's actually just do some hands together on it, and we're going to try to follow our dynamic markings pretty closely. And you notice how we have like these are like some phrasing kind of marks right here. We go up in crescendo a little bit right here, and we get to like a little bit of a louder dynamic, and then we decrescendo right here. Let's try to observe those too, but we're going to take it nice and slow since we're kind of starting to put hands together. So just whenever you're ready. No worries. How about, I know it's kind of like putting you on the spot here. How about just like take it slow and just let's make sure we can just get through, let's try to get through this line right here. Softer there, huh? together. So like maybe using a little bit of like this light kind of touch, because we don't want this to end up being like, you know, that kind of sound. And then when we're doing our little phrasing, I'm gonna kind of go into it here. So it's kind of like the sections are kind of opening up a little, crescendoing and then decrescendoing. So we kind of want to observe that a little bit. It's just a nice little thing to do and to kind of observe that. Let's have so that's something to kind of work on a little bit right there. But good deal. I think what we could start working towards is getting a metronome number for doing the hands together. So let's just do something kind of slow to start off with. Like we won't do 80. Let's try to do, I don't know, 60. Let's see what 65 kind of sounds like. 2, 3, and 1. That one, and also have our little phrasing right there too. So how about let's try 60, and don't worry about going past like measures 4 here. Let's just kind of deal with those and see how that's sounding. It's okay. Go ahead and you just start over. So 60, we'll work on that and just take the time with it to kind of work out. I know this little part at the end of here, like just kind of be careful there with this. And another kind of thing to keep an eye on, and this is just like a tiny little thing to think about, is this little 8th note that's tied. So make sure that when you land it here, like let go of it, because I know it's easy to just like hold it into that rest. It's just a tiny little detail, and we'll just go ahead and kind of highlight that little rest. So just lift after that 8th tie right there. I'll go ahead and kind of dash through it to show it as a tie. Yeah, cool. Good job. And this one's nice because it's just a nice little kind of slow song and pretty straightforward. That's the cool thing about it. And then over here, just to kind of show a preview of this one. So Arietta is, it's kind of a fun little song. You'll notice it's in 3/8 time, and we're going to be playing it kind of keeping in mind that we're counting 8th notes. Does that make sense? So like we're counting these 1, 2, 3. And another thing to keep in mind is that this one has a voice that we're kind of like, we're going da, da, da. We're holding this down. So we go 1 and 2 and 3 and 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 1 and 2 and 3. So we're counting those 3s, you know, in each measure. And then it gets a little weird right here because we have like, this is kind of a 30-second note type of thing. But in 3/8 time, we're going to go, like, we're going to count it kind of like it's a 16th note, if that makes sense, because it's kind of like that in 3/8 because we're not counting 4, you know, like quarter notes. So, and then these are like 16ths, but they're going to be counted more like 8th notes. It's like these are quarters, so we go 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. So this one, if you wanted to get started on like the right hand of this one, you could be working on just like holding this for the 1 and 2 and 3 and 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 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2. So this one's a tricky one to count. It's kind of like, it's almost like it'll start to sound good when it's hands together, kind of like that. But we could count it kind of like 1. So this would be like 1. And then E and a, 2 E and a, kind of like that. It's kind of tricky to count it. Let me see if I can find a pencil. So, but just for now, like think of this as 1, and then this would be your 2nd beat, and this would be your 3rd beat. And you notice how they line up right here. So you have 1 beat, obviously like right here. So it's like 1, 2, right, and then 3. and then 2 E and a 3 E and a, kind of like that, because we'll go ahead, and since we have this tiny little dot, which is basically a fraction of this beat, so it's like this, the equivalent of this 32nd note. I know that's crazy. So it's like 2 E and 3 E and I don't know if that kind of makes sense. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and So that's a good way to start looking at that one and kind of counting it out. But I would work on the right hand, like through here and here. Kind of same thing here. This has a little, you've probably seen these before, right? The little, that's a grace note. That one's like, that one is that note that has the slash through it. So it's an acciaccatura. It's like a short, really short one. It goes, oh my bad, like that. So that's another little kind of goofy thing to kind of do. But if you notice here, this and this, see how these are the same exact rhythms though? So we got 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and for that one as well. So you can kind of count that out. 1 E and 2 E and 3 and notice these are kind of like, they go along with it. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and so there you go. Cool. So we'll go ahead and move on to, we'll go ahead and get into your solfeggiato, if that's okay with you. So let's see. How's it going with that one, by the way? Is it like going pretty well?
Yeah, it's going good, except for the last page.
Oh gosh, yeah, that last page. Let's see. Alright, so how about we go ahead and try, what do you want to start with first on this one? What do you want to do? Do you want to kind of dive right into last page or kind of run through this one?
Run through the first.
Okay, sounds good. How about, let me look over here. How about we do, are we good to do 70? Like we had our goal for like the first and second pages at 70. Are we good with that one? Do you feel like we could even bump it to like 75?
Yeah.
Let's try it. Let's just kind of, no worries. We'll just see how it's going at 75. And I'm going to go ahead and do, yeah. So here's 4. 3, 50. So one really great, like keeping it really good on the dot. Let's try to be ready on that one though, so that we're not having to go backwards and kind of hit that one. Does that sound okay? And let's just make a starting place of like, you know, over, we could go over in here if you want to, but let's try to have that one ready right there on that beat, yeah. Or just wherever you want to start from, whatever makes sense. Let's try that one. I know it's so hard. It's okay. 2 and 3 and 4 and. Very good. And 4 and. this page, and we're gonna try this one. We said we were gonna do like, what did we say, 60 for that tricky, all the tricky stuff on that third page. Does that sound okay? How do you feel like it's going with, do you want to play through it without metronome first and then we try 60? We could try
it's
that.
good, like right here and down there. It's just once I
Is
hit
that
this
middle part? I gotcha. Yeah, that one's just got so much going on in it for sure. Just do it without first and then we'll try with maybe metronome after. So close there. Make sure we have a B flat there because of, let me see, B flat. Yeah, just make sure. Because remember how that guy, yeah, that's B flat there. Okay. So B flat here, A flat on top. Yeah, it's okay. E flat G. So it'd be like this one and this one here. Kind of do something. So let's kind of focus in on like all of this going on, like basically all of this for a second. So let's try to get where we're really getting these like all the, because I know there's a lot of like changing going on here, right? We have this like this chord, then we have this, but I think something that might help us out is just kind of having a strategy a little bit, like 5-1 here, right? And then we just go here. So it's a super easy move. So let's try to think about this as, you remember 5 would do like a 5 and a 2 on the top, then 1 1 3 on this next thing here, and that should be super easy to kind of get from here to da. My bad. Let's see. Da, da, da. And we have, I mean, this turns into this right here, 1 5, and then we have. So we're just going from here, and then we have this here. So da, 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 1 2 and so let's just do these left hand chords by themselves for a second. So let's do left hand up here on B flat, A flat right there. Let's try that. And I think let's do, I don't know, you could do 5-2, or let's try, we could do 5-1, and then here let's try 5-1 might actually be a better plan. So let's try that. Just, and don't worry about the right hand for a second, just kind of do left hand. So remember, this will be playing this and then this. It'll be like da 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 da. Right? Does that feel easier to kind of do? So it's kind of good because it's like we're being strategic here. We're just like going from here to here. Bum, bum, bum. Yeah. So let's do that again. Let's do it maybe 2 more times. Awesome. Good. So now from there, like, does that feel doable for your hand there? Okay. Then from there, so we just did these. Now all we have to do is kind of go and do this 1 5 here, da, da, 2 times. So da, da. Don't forget the next chord. Yeah. There There we go. And then and yes, and that should be like a also like it'll still be staccato. Yeah, good. Just hang out there for a little bit. Let's go through. Let's try to do this whole line and then catch that G octave at the end. It's okay. Just do it again. Just so that we keep it like the same, let's try to do that, the G octave at the end too, yeah. Yeah, so be like, we count it to 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Because of, we got the 2, 3, and that would be our 4th beat right there. Yeah, cool. We'll go ahead and try that again, so. Yeah, that'd be like, yeah. There we go. Cool. So let's go back to, so remember how at the beginning here we go 1, 2. So this is, remember how this was, except it's going to be up here. And this has to be really smooth. Maybe let's do that one again and let's try to make sure everything's moving through and this is really smooth, okay? And holding this for 1 and 2 and then playing that one. Does that make sense? Let's try that. So we have
where it's at the other page.
Yeah, is that easier to kind of start in on that one? Oh, so it'd be, well, this is the 3rd page, so it'd be like starting on this guy here. Yeah, let me scoot this over. Okay, there we go. Yeah. Watch out for the, so remember what octave do we play right here? Yeah, D flat, right? There you go. 1, 2. Awesome. Cool. Yeah, see how that was really good. And then, okay, let's just do it again. Let's repeat that spot again just to get extra practice in there.